Hi, my name is Danielle Penn, and I am the very proud owner of Electrolysis Beauty Lounge in West Orange, New Jersey, recently located from Bloomfield, about a week ago. I love what I do. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love bringing joy to people and who are struggling with this hair dysphoria. Electrolysis, what is it? It is the permanent and the only permanent method of hair removal. Period, point blank. A lot of people confuse it with laser. It is not laser. Laser is not permanent hair removal. It is permanent hair reduction. They are not allowed to say that they are permanent hair removal. They often get around it by just saying laser is permanent, which is misleading because yeah, it's permanent, but it's permanent hair reduction, not permanent hair removal. Again, electrolysis is the only method of permanent hair removal. Electrolysis uses a pen-like apparatus with a needle at the end, and we insert it into each individual hair follicle, administering a current that destroys the components necessary for a hair to grow. And because it is this precise, and because it destroys those components, those hairs cannot grow back. All laser does is punch it in the face so that it's damaged for a while and doesn't grow back for quite some time. So therefore it can reduce, but it does not remove. So I'm very excited to bring you this video. I am very, very passionate about electrolysis for a number of reasons. It is not just because it's the only method of permanent hair removal, but because most people don't know it even exists. And yet it's been around since 1875. I have so many clients that come to me with tears in their eyes, with pain about facial hair that they want removed, about they don't want to look like they don't feel. They know inside that they are a woman and they look like a man, right? Their words, not mine. And I am able to bring them joy and help them on their journey, whatever that journey may be, that includes hair removal. I decided to start a series called At the Root of It. I see a lot of gaps in not only the hair removal industry, but in the electrolysis industry itself. Even though it's been around for a very long time, people in the electrolysis industry aren't helping themselves by speaking about it on the social platforms. You've got a huge platform here that everyone talks about beauty and makeup and skincare and hair on your head, but people aren't really doing a good job speaking to the importance of when you remove your hair, what is the best method for you? And when is the best method for you? When do you start? How do you get your parents on board? How do you get your friends on board? How do you get the support that you need so that you can transition and start removing facial hair from doctors? I work with people who have doctors that don't even know what electrolysis is. And we're talking dermatologists, we're talking endocrinologists. Or they'll say, people still do that? And I'm like, are you kidding? Come on. It's a simple Google search, folks. It's time to start talking about the benefits of permanent hair removal, that we are out here, we are capable of helping, and that we need more. There are very few electrologists in the country. There are only 83 of us in New Jersey. And of those 83, more than 50% are age 70 or over, which means what happens when those people decide to actually retire? Can you imagine only having 40 people in the entire state of New Jersey as an electrologist? Ask me how many are Black. So up until, a year and a half ago, 2 years, I think it's about a year and a half ago, I was the only one in New Jersey who was registered with the national board. National board is the American Electrology Association. There are now 2 of us. I had a client a while back. She got laid off, and I told her, look, this industry is wide open, especially for brown and Black women, or people who are brown and Black. And so I told her, you need to go for it. And so she did. She went to school in New York and came back. She took her exams, she passed her exams, and she now has her own space in a nearby town that I don't want to blow her up without her permission. That said, people always ask me, how the heck did you get into electrolysis? So I am in corporate. I work at a financial company. I work in the technology department of that financial company as a senior technical program manager. I have had a very long career in either traffic management, project management, program management, which, if you had to sum it all up, is the exact same thing. It's just a different industry. It's print, or it's branding, or it's marketing, or it's beauty, or it's finance. But a project manager, give me a project, I'll manage it. And I've always been connected to technology, with the exception of my very first job out of school, which was print. And so getting here was an interesting journey. I graduated from the City College of New York in Harlem, CCNY for short. I have a double bachelor's in graphic design as well as one in advertising and marketing. I later went on to Pratt, where I graduated from in 2008 from the design management. So think MBA for designers. They made room for what's called triple bottom line sustainability, which is people, profit, planet sustainability. The premise of that program was designers are going to change the world, right? The things that we consume that are destroying our society and that are destroying our planet are built and designed by someone. If you design responsible things, then people will use responsible things. And so the goal was that designers are going to change the world. And coming from a design background, which was a prerequisite for this program, I was able to get in. They only select 30 people a year. I got in 2006 and I graduated in 2008 with a master's in design management. A little bit more about me. I am currently 45. I will be 46 in December of this year. I am from Long Island and Queens. I spent about the same amount of time in both before I moved to New Jersey in 2013. I started working for a company here in Newark in 2013 and loved what I did. I vowed after a layoff, so I've been laid off 6 times, folks, which is very important here, because after the layoff that happened in 2009, it broke my heart. And I vowed, no matter how much I love doing what I do, I will never put more into a company than the person whose name is on the awning is willing to put into it. So if they're not willing to go to bat for their own company, I'm not willing to put my neck on the line and get it chopped off and find out that I'm only a number in the long run. And that was a moment where I also had the first job where I insisted that there was some degree of that triple bottom line sustainability attached to it, right? Fast forward to when I said I moved to Newark. I got a job at a company here, Prudential Financial, and it turned out to be a wonderful opportunity for me. And I was hand selected by the head of of the technology organization to be the lead on the web accessibility initiative. In the process, administration changed and goals changed. And so web accessibility was no longer a priority. They killed the web accessibility project. They laid off everyone. I was the last to go. Another heartbreak moment for me, but it was the last one, that I said after that, that's it. It is time to be an entrepreneur. It is time to find, I don't care what it takes, just figure out what it is that you can do so that these companies don't have the power to take away your livelihood ever again. I opened up a couple companies. While I was doing that, I got called by where I work now at American Express. And I started working there as a program manager. And I even said when I first started there, I don't code. I'm not a technical person, because they wanted me to work with all these engineers. And what they said to me was, I have 1 million people that can code. But what I don't have is someone like you to make all the trains run on time, to pull it all together, and to have the foresight to do the things we need done before we get there needing it. And so I was hired by American Express in October of 2016 and as a contractor. And then later in April of 2017, I was hired as full-time, and I am still there today. This is important. Why? I already explained to you, I've been laid off 6 times, right? So by the time I got to American Express, I wanted to just be a column, right? Meaning not shiny, not anything that stands out. I want to be a column. Important, you need me there, but I don't really want to be seen right now. That's how much I was deflated from all of these layoffs, right? But what I learned, and I had to come into myself to realize, I am shiny, and it is okay to be who I am. You just have to make sure that you are around people that are like you. And I bring that up because American Express is another company like that. And I found my people. I have an incredible boss. I have an incredible team. It's an incredible place to work for as a human being. It's a phenomenal place to work for as a woman. And it's an even better place to work for as a Black woman in corporate America. And I've done the legwork, folks. I've had a lot of jobs. And in my opinion, this is one of the absolute best. So just a quick plug for Amex, for those of you looking for a gig right now. They're a great place to work. They gave me the room I needed to take that next step in becoming that entrepreneur. I did mention in 2008, the first time I've ever had my experience with electrolysis was then. When I was younger, I shaved my happy trail because I was teased about it. And it wasn't even a big deal. I have blonde hairs mostly on my body, relatively hairless. But right at the happy trail area, for those of you who don't know the happy trail, that's that hairline beneath your belly button. The blonde hair overlapped, and it was just a thicker blonde hair. And kids are mean. And they would tease, and I fell into it and I shaved it off. Well, you shave it off and then it grew back thick and it grew back coarse. Now I'm tweezing it. And now I'm, continuing to shave it. And it gets worse and worse and worse. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm a huge beachhead. My mom raised me at the beach. Again, Long Island, Queens, right there on the shore. That's where I was raised. I travel, that's everything that I do. So you can imagine how that didn't look nice in a bathing suit. And so I decided to do something about it. And my research turned up electrolysis. I don't even remember experiencing the conversation in laser at all online. But needless to say, I got some electrolysis in 2008. I got that work done for about a year and a half, and then poof, my belly is gone. Fast forward again to American Express, and I told you I was very beach oriented, and bikini for me was next. So I decided to get my bikini done because I'm a huge beachhead, as I mentioned, and it was just time. I was tired of the waxing. I was tired of the shaving. And you started this vicious cycle of having to wait for the hair to grow back in order to wax it. So you shave if you're going to the beach before you get a chance to have the hair grow back, and the ingrowns on top of it and the chafing on top of it. It was just a mess. I now had the money to get it done, right? So I said, you know what, let's go for it. Found some electrologist nearby and started getting my work done. And about the 3rd or 4th visit, I never really remember, but I started asking questions about electrolysis and how she became an electrologist. And it was like I was sitting there, and out of nowhere, it just, boom, it just hit me. Like, oh my gosh, you can be an electrologist. I knew that it didn't cost that much to get started once I started asking some questions, and to stay running, my operational costs are near none in comparison to other like jobs, you can say, or careers in, say, the beauty industry. And I was giving back, because now you have not only all of these people who identify as women and have hair on their face growing in a male growth pattern, beards and mustaches, and down their neck and across, down their chest and over their breasts, right? Not only was I helping them, but I'm also now helping the transgender community really start to look the way that they feel. So I started doing research, and I found out that there are two schools nearby. Again, I'm in West Orange, New Jersey. I found one in New York called Berkowitz, and I found one in South Jersey in Cherry Hill. The one in Cherry Hill was really not conducive to my situation because of the limited number of students that she would take. I tried calling. It was a very fixed program. This time to this time on these days, you had to be there. It wasn't in a loose curriculum, right? A rolling curriculum at all. So it was too fixed for I have 9 to 5. I can't do that. But then I started thinking about the one in New York, and which is ironic as heck because I just left Queens, right, in 2013 and just now figuring all this out here. But I looked at their program, and Monday through Friday is the only times that they were open, and most days only till 5. They only had 2 days that they were open until 7 o'clock. So it just doesn't work for me. So I kind of walked away from that idea. And I just went on my regular day-to-day, went back to work, and forgot all about electrolysis, or at least I tried to. But I was still going to my appointments, and every time I went there, I'm like, dang, I gotta figure this out. What do I need in order to get this done? What is it that I'm lacking? And I'm lacking more time in my day. I figured if I move to California, I can work half days East Coast time, which is 9 to 1 in New York or New Jersey, and then jump to Pacific time, which is now only 10 a.m., and then go to class. Well, I started researching schools and found a school in Tustin, California that is open till 7 and 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock, depending on the day, Monday through Thursday, closed on Fridays, and then Saturday they open up again, closed on Sunday. And they also had that you could do the 200 hours online, and then you can show up whenever you wanted, and when you showed up, that was when you would actually count for electrolysis, your 400 hours. I'm like, I can do this. Let me call my boss, right? Talk to my boss, and I proposed just what I suggested. The fact that the California schools closed on Fridays meant that I only needed to take off half days Monday to Thursday. I'm only taking off 2 days a week for how many weeks? About 10 weeks. I figured, okay, if I split it where I do some of those days, half of it in the fall, and the other half in the late winter, spring, my vacation days renew. So I didn't have to burn all my vacation days from within a single calendar year. It was brilliant, and the opportunity was perfect. And so that is what I did. I moved to California for 5 weeks in October. Then I stayed there from October until early November. I came home. I did the whole holiday thing. January 2019, I went back to California, and I graduated in February, the end of February, and came home and had my license. And had my diploma. So now I was eligible to apply for my license. That is how I got educated in electrolysis. But when I came home and I started having conversations with people, I realized that they didn't know what I knew. They didn't have the same education that I had. And I also realized that they weren't educating their clients and telling people the things that would be interesting to them, right? I hear a lot of electrologists, for example, say it is very important to be hydrated, which is true, by the way. But not enough people said why being hydrated was important. And that is really, really, really key in helping people understand. When people understand, they are better at doing. So I realized that it was important to educate. In August, I passed the first of the 2 tests that are required. I think September, I passed the second of the 2 tests that were required. And then by October, I found a space. So my electrologist changed from someone in West Orange to my mentor in Bloomfield. I started going to her, and she became my mentor, offered me a space in her electrolysis studio. I sublet it from her. That is where I got my office premise granted, where I'm now allowed to work out of this space by the board. And I opened up in November of 2019. As you know, That was just before the pandemic began. So I was only open for a few months before they shut me back down. Thank goodness I had another job, so I was able to maintain and continue to pay my rent while I was shut down from March of 2020, and I didn't come back to work until mid-July. I opened back up again and hit the ground running, and I have been running ever since. I have so many clients who are fabulous and have so many great stories, and I plan on bringing you those stories. I want you to hear about the PCOS, and I want you to hear about them going to get laser on their face and now having more hair than they did before, which is called paradoxical hypertrichosis. Is a contraindication of laser hair removal that the laser hair removal industry is not telling people about. But in all of these stories that I'm hearing, again, they had two things that were consistent. One, didn't even know what electrolysis was, right? Among most of them. And two, they couldn't find much information or many electrologists that were out there, and they darn sure couldn't find anybody who's Black. So I knew that there was a huge opportunity here, and with that, a huge responsibility to do something about it. I did some educational pieces online, but mostly print. And as the industry shifted, the beauty industry shifted, obviously social media took over and beauty went boom on social media. And I realized that video is obviously where it's at. And if I don't have my videos if I don't have this educational piece on YouTube, and if I don't have it on Instagram and TikTok, then I'm going to miss the audiences that I need to be speaking to. That is when I decided to do my series called At the Root of It. I am pleased to be here. I wish I knew about this business and this opportunity 10 years ago. I inevitably want to open up more electrolysis beauty lounges. I want to go to schools and speak about hair removal and the right way and the wrong way to go about doing things, how to deal with hyperpigmentation, to help those children who didn't have the voice that who don't have the voice that I wish I had when I shaved my happy trail, to explain to them it's okay to want these things gone, but let's talk about how you do it. Let's talk about the options that you have so that you're not dealing with the negative effects of those in 10 years. I want to educate people about laser. There is a place and time for laser. I do believe it has a role in the hair removal industry, but I am not okay with it not being 100% transparent and forthcoming. These technicians, as they come in, they're not learning about laser as a whole. I know doctors, dermatologists, specifically Black dermatologists, who are conducting laser, right? Administering laser hair removal to women's faces who have androgen-related hormonal conditions. And they have come to me. They go in for hair on their corners, and they've come to me now and say, I have hair all down my neck and never had that before I got laser. I respect every industry, and I don't claim to be a doctor. I don't claim to be a dermatologist. I stay in my lane, but my lane is hair removal. And therefore, I know how hair grows. I know why hair grows. I know what can and cannot cause hair to grow. I know how hair gets removed. I know what removes hair. And I know what damages those hair follicles while you are attempting to remove them over and over and over with the different methods that are out there. The fact that endocrinologists don't even know about electrolysis, the fact that dermatologists don't even know about electrolysis when they're administering a hair removal method that is a direct competitor, how do you not know who your competitors are? I just watched The Black Beauty Effect on Netflix. It's a limited series. There are only 3 episodes in the series. The first one is all things makeup. The second is all things skincare. The third is all things hair on your head, or the crown, as they call it. Not once in all the wonderfulness of this series did anyone mention hair removal. Not a single mention. But hair on people's faces is also what's causing hyperpigmentation. It's also what's causing the bumps and the breakouts on both men and women. And I was very disappointed. So I'm here to talk about hair removal and how all of this now goes together. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say. DM me. You will find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Electrolysis Beauty Lounge for all of them. I'm here to bring you as much information as possible, getting people out in the industry to sit down and talk to me. Different industries that impact or are impacted by hair growth on the body. I want some of our clients to come in and have these discussions. I want them to tell you their story. There's so much. I've said so much. I can't wait for what's next. Welcome to At the Root of It. Again, my name is Danielle Penn. My studio is in West Orange, New Jersey. I offer free phone consultations, book an appointment. I'm happy to give you more. But subscribe, check out my website, electrolysisbeautylounge.com. I also have a complimentary website that talks about all things laser. It is called bewareoflaser.com. These are two very important resources that I want you to grasp onto. Share with your friends and family and experts and doctors and nurses and cosmetology professionals. They need to know about electrolysis. These are all programs that can complement. I am here to bring you as much knowledge as I possibly can get my hands on. Subscribe. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. I look forward to reading your comments and your concerns. I am Danielle Penn, and this is the series At the Root of It.